Welcome to Always on Wire. Today, we're talking about Ahmad Tarmizi bin Suleiman's recent statements in Parliament regarding two critical national issues: public safety on Malaysia Airlines and the expenditure of state investment funds. That's exactly right. We're digging into what came up during the debate for the 2026 national budget. The Member of Parliament for Sikh, Ahmad Tarmizi bin Suleiman, he certainly made some waves, didn't he?
He definitely did, focused on two quite different yet, well, significant topics. Cultural sensitivity on one hand, and then this huge issue of financial accountability with public money.
Yeah, it feels like a smart political approach, tying those two together under this banner of accountability. Let's start with the first one, the call for Malaysia Airlines to stop serving alcohol on all flights.
Right. That's the one that catches the eye immediately, isn't it? It seems on the surface mostly about respecting, religious and social sensitivities for the majority here.
That's the obvious angle. But looking at how Ahmad Tarmizi bin Suleiman presented it in Parliament, his main argument wasn't purely cultural, was it? He led with something else.
Not primarily, no. And that's where the strategy lies, I think. While, yes, the cultural aspect is undeniably there, the justification he actually put forward was all about operational safety.
Safety, how so?
Well, he argued quite strongly that an intoxicated passenger isn't just, annoying or disruptive. He framed them as a direct physical threat, a danger to the crew, to other passengers, to basically everyone on the plane.
Ah, okay. So shifting it from a values debate to a practical safety-first issue.
Exactly. It makes the argument harder to dismiss politically, moves it into the realm of operational necessity, maybe.
And he backed this up, right? I remember reading about a specific incident he brought up.
Yes, very effectively. He used that 2015 incident involving Malaysia Airlines flight MH179. It was heading to Colombo.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
A passenger, apparently drunk, caused a really serious disturbance, harassing crew, bothering other passengers. It got so bad the pilot actually had to turn the plane around, head back.
Wow. That really drives the point home about disruption and cost.
Absolutely. Think about the fuel costs, the delays, the potential danger. It wasn't just about someone being loud. His point was crystal clear. If someone is intoxicated and unaware, we don't know what might happen.
With so many passengers on the plane. Yeah, that puts the onus squarely on the airline, doesn't it? Makes it a liability issue.
Completely. And it's worth noting this wasn't just him speaking in isolation.
Well, who else?
During the same budget debate, the MP for Hulu Selangor, Hasni Zan, apparently echoed similar sentiments about restricting alcohol on the national carrier.
So it suggests maybe a more coordinated push on this particular issue, treating Malaysia Airlines almost like a symbol, perhaps.
It certainly seems like it, but then you have to consider the other side. For an international airline like Malaysia Airlines, especially one that's, let's be honest, faced financial struggles.
Yeah, competition is fierce.
Exactly. A complete alcohol ban. That puts them at a disadvantage against competitors like Singapore Airlines, Qatar, Emirates. Those airlines often use beverage service as part of their premium offering.
So banning it could mean losing out on that higher-paying passenger segment.
Yeah.
And maybe alienating some international travelers.
Potentially, yes. It creates this real tension. How do you balance the push for safety and cultural alignment with the hard commercial realities of running a global airline?
That's a tough balancing act. Okay, let's switch gears then. From the plane cabin to government spending. The MP's second big target was financial. Specifically, a huge amount of money for historical restoration.
Yes, and the number itself is what really jumps out. 600 million ringgit, RM 600,000. That's the figure he challenged.
600 million, that's a substantial amount for restoration projects, you'd think.
It is, and it's important to know where this money was coming from.
Right, who was doing the spending?
It was the government-linked investment company, Khazanah Nasional Berhad.
Khazanah Nasional Berhad. Interesting. They're the strategic wealth fund, aren't they? Their job is usually managing commercial assets, making investments for long-term national wealth.
Precisely. Usually focused on things like boosting key industries or getting returns on investments. This particular RM 600 million was allocated for restoring the National Guest House and several other historical buildings.
Okay, so that immediately raises a question, doesn't it?
Right.
Why Khazanah Nasional Berhad? Why is the strategic investment arm handling a massive heritage restoration project rather than, say, the Ministry of Tourism or Culture?
That was exactly Ahmad Tarmizi bin Suleiman's point. He questioned that allocation quite directly. It makes you wonder about the process, the rationale.
Yeah, I mean, preserving heritage is important, obviously. But using Khazanah Nasional Berhad for it, It does make you ask if that's the best use of their specific mandate and funds.
Right. Could that money have generated a better return elsewhere, or was the cost perhaps higher because it was coming from a fund like Khazanah National Berhad? It opens the door to suspicion about efficiency and maybe even inflated costs.
And the language he used really hammered this home, didn't it? Yeah, quote about the costs.
Oh, the famous one. It got a lot of traction. He asked, rhetorically of course, does the building wall need to be plated with gold and inlaid with diamonds?
Yeah, a bit over the top, maybe, but it makes the point instantly.
Absolutely. It perfectly conveys his deep skepticism about that RM 600 million figure. It implies it's hugely inflated and demands serious justification. Basically, show us the detailed breakdown.
It's a direct challenge on value for money, plain and simple. And it forces you, the listener, to think, right, when you see a figure like RM 600 million from a body like Khazanah National Berhad going to heritage, what's your take? Is it a vital investment? Or could that massive sum be better used for, I don't know, healthcare, schools, roads, immediate needs?
It puts the spotlight right on national priorities and how resources are allocated. Khazanah's core mission is generally understood as maximizing long-term financial wealth for the nation.
Not necessarily funding cultural projects, unless they somehow offer a commercial return, which restoration often doesn't directly anyway.
Exactly. So the scrutiny isn't really anti-heritage. It seems more focused on who is paying, how much they're paying, and why this specific vehicle, Khazanah National Berhad, is being used.
So if we take a step back now, we see these two quite different issues. The alcohol on flights, the RM 600 million restoration fund.
Yeah.
But there's a clear link in the MP's approach.
There definitely is. It's quite clever politically. Both arguments, made right there in the budget debate spotlight, boil down to one core theme: accountability.
Accountability, right.
On one side, demanding Malaysia Airlines be accountable for passenger safety and, yes, cultural norms as the nation's flag carrier.
And on the other,
Demanding Khazanah National Berhad be accountable for spending enormous sums of public investment money wisely and transparently. He's positioning himself as watching out for both cultural values and the public purse.
so reflecting on all this, we're left with these two big questions hanging in the air, aren't we? First, for Malaysia Airlines. Where is that practical line between safety rules, cultural expectations, and just letting passengers make their own choices, especially international ones? How do they stay competitive?
That's the million-dollar, or perhaps billion ringgit, question for the airline.
And second, on the money side, how closely should Parliament really be watching when huge sums, hundreds of millions, are given to government-linked bodies like Khazanah National Berhad for projects like heritage restoration? How much transparency is needed?
These aren't easy questions. They touch on defining national priorities, ensuring good governance, and deciding how we want our national symbols and institutions to operate.
It makes you wonder, are these two seemingly separate points actually part of a bigger political play? Maybe trying to steer the conversation for the 2026 budget more towards cultural identity and careful spending, and perhaps a bit away from just pure economic growth figures. Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought. It's about the narrative being shaped around national responsibility.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.